There are people who say that you should never have gone into negotiations with the enemy. You did not need to do that because you were never going to win. And you needed to be able to just take the country. If it means by force, it should be. What do you say to someone who still holds that view?
Well, it's a great view to hold. It's a very ambitious one and a bold one.
Apartheid was defeated. Let's just put it very plain. Apartheid was defeated. White racism in South Africa was defeated. CODESA, Conferences for Democratic South Africa, thereabout. Now, I'm speaking freestyle. I haven't done a bunch of reading. I'm speaking right from the top of CODESA talks heading into a democratic South Africa in 1994. The first democratic elections were pretty much about safeguarding the interests of minority white people of South Africa. It is not in the nature of racist people to be nice, to come and talk to you. It's not unless they only understand pure hardcore force and money.
Killed up a whole lot of bloody bodies. Just walking doesn't help.
This is civil war, man. This is civil war. This is the start of a civil war.
The aim of the Volksfront was to create Afrikaner self-determination.
I'm a born South African. I've grown up in South Africa. I love my communities.
I'm not interested in living anymore. There's no reason for my existence if I have to live under a communist system.
Meneer Blanche.
Okay. International pressure, solidarity around the world was just strangling and closing in on the apartheid system in South Africa. That the economy was not viable, okay, for them to keep propping up apartheid segregation, formalized, constitutionalized racism. It was, you need money, okay, and you need external support from Ronald Reagan in the United States of America and Margaret Thatcher, United Kingdom. But both of those were having problems of their own. Their waning in influence was declining. Okay. Their dominance in world politics was beginning to decline. That's why apartheid came to speak. And we had no interest in overrunning them outright. Hello, South Africa, 2,000 years and 24 later. Our current sitting and presiding president, His Excellency Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa. A question keeps on nagging and stressing South Africans out, keeps coming back over and over. Why did we, black majority of South Africa, not fight an outright revolution and defeat the racist white minorities of South Africa? Amapuno, that means Boers, white farmers, racist white farmers, call themselves Afrikaners sometimes. Let's listen to this. South Africa.
People who say that you should never have gone into negotiations with the enemy.
We should never have gone into negotiations with the enemy.
Because you were never going to win.
Because we were never going to win.
And you needed to be able to just take the country.
We needed to be able to just take the country.
Force, it should be.
If it means by force, we should have done.
Well, it's a great view to hold. It's a very ambitious one and a bold one. I guess many of us who got into the struggle felt that way. I was a young student at the university, and when we marched on the police station to go and demand the release of one of our leaders, that's how we felt. We were walking on air. We thought the moment had
The urge was there,
we could
right?
take on the police, and we discounted the fact that they were armed with big guns.
Not
And
quite. That's not quite correct, Comrade
it was,
President.
We had been in struggle for 82 years, since 1912, and we hadn't defeated them, and they had not defeated us. So when you reach a stalemate like that, you then have to opt for another answer. And it was Nelson Mandela who started talking like that to them in prison and said to them, look, you've been trying to destroy us and put us here in prison for life. You have not destroyed us. And we've also been trying, we haven't. The only option is for us to talk. And that is what then opened the way. Those who say we should have fought it to the end.
President. I don't think that's the way the sequence of events took
Yes,
place.
much as it may sound very exciting,
Yeah,
don't know the full reality
that's correct.
of the forces that were arraigned against us.
That's correct. It's a long 6-minute answer. Yes, most black South Africans, or majority South Africans who are non-whites, do not realize the full extent of the situation we were in. Okay, I know there is an urge among South Africans to question, out of frustration with their economic situation today. They question the decisions that were made at that time. Okay, let me tell you something. If Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu, and Oliver Tambo, and Ahmed Kathrada, and Raymond Mhlaba, Elias Motsoaledi came back, they would question us as to how far we have moved the needle since then. They set things up, and it's up to us to, keep refining and keep tweaking. Okay, it's not the end all be all. You cannot blame the leadership of that time. That's the best route we could have taken, was to go and negotiate, because there are many, many reasons that necessitated that. One of the biggest reasons is that African National Congress was not out to kill. Okay, our struggle was more a soulful struggle. Our struggle was Gandhiist in nature. Okay, in other words, we would push nonviolence until we cannot be nonviolent, until they were so violent and brutal, which is what happened, that we had to arm up and wage an armed struggle. So armed struggle for the ANC was just really last resort. From the 1920s even, the leadership of the ANC was made up originally of churchmen, clergy, who always thought of forgiveness. Okay, and that's the design, the makings, the genetics of the African National Congress from the very inception. The second issue that necessitated negotiations is that these were fellow South Africans. They just happened to be white and sick in the head. And that's the view of the leadership of the African National Congress. They needed to be cured of their racism, white South Africans who were oppressing the majority, with the help of the American segregationists. That's where the blueprint for apartheid came from, pretty much. The America's South. That's right. And the help of certain European countries, most especially United Kingdom. Then this racist fake country called Israel. Just so you know, many racist, ultra-racist white South Africans ended up in Israel. That's why we call it an apartheid state. So if we were to fight an outright revolution against white South Africans, and we won, there are about how many, 10, 20 million white South Africans? Where would we put them? Take them where? Okay, that's another big question. So it became an international issue. if we were to fight and outright and defeat them.